On to mindfulness and meditation, because I know you're a big advocate for this and we always chat about it when we catch up. But how would you describe mindfulness and meditation?
Well, meditation is one of those words that, again, can sort of isolate people or sort of put them on the back foot a little bit, because it's hard to understand, and they can sort of take a view that meditation means sitting in the one spot for an hour, and they can take a view that my mind doesn't sort of focus, it roams, so it's not for me. So there again, let's go back to really what meditation and mindfulness is. It's really focusing. It's focusing on something. I think it's pretty important to get your breath at the time you do it into a nice, slow, deep, rhythmic breath, which will actually calm your nervous system down and focus. Now, if that's still hard for people to follow, think of noticing. Just noticing things around you is a form of meditation. Even just being curious on your walks tomorrow by the beach, down the park, looking at the plants, looking at the sky, and noticing where you are. That's starting to make you focus, starting to make you come inwards, starting to give you clarity. So that's the way I'd describe mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah. I was going to ask, and you touched on it briefly, but for people that don't like to meditate, so a lot of people think meditating is sitting in one spot for an hour or 15 minutes and breathing and that's it. For me, I can't do that. So, but what else, and I know a lot of others can't either, but what else can people do to be more mindful and more present?
Just concentrate on a moment basis on what you're doing every day. So what you might think is mundane or just a natural process of life, like taking a shower, for instance, what are you really doing? There's hot water running down your back. Where did that water come from? How does it make you feel in that moment? Do you feel a sense of gratitude? Or when you go to eat something or drink a glass of red, where did this grape come from? How does it taste on the front of my tongue and on the back of my palate? Who are the people that were probably involved in that chain of producing that wine? So it's not just what I find great about being present oriented, it also makes you thankful and not dismissive of little things in life that are really are blessing you. So I just say, get into the moment. There's nothing too small to concentrate on or look at and observe, and take 2 or 3 deep breaths. And, a little bit of encouraging research that I read the other day, and I sort of feel is right from my own personal experience, is that 6 times 10 minutes of meditation a day can be more powerful so far as your well-being goes than 1 complete hour. And I think if you broke that down to and said, I've got 60 minutes, 61-minute sessions of focusing on something, I think particularly nature, or particularly something that's associated with nature, would even be even more beneficial. It's that calming the nervous system down, being thankful for what's in front of you.
Yeah. I like, you touched on it, you mentioned the word being more curious, and I really like it because sometimes we're not curious enough about things, and I've tried to be a little bit more curious about certain things, and that I found that really helps. So it's really interesting that you've touched on it.
I think curiosity is a great way to explain it to people. I'm not a social commentator. I think we've lost the ability in the race we're in to actually just stop and think and be curious. And I gave a presentation recently where I showed just simply the sky in the air, and a gentleman stayed back on the Zoom presentation and said to me, look, that meant a lot to me, because when I was a kid, I used to lie on my back in the farm and just look at the sky and get curious about the sky and look at the shapes of the clouds and this slow movement. I mean, just really beautiful stuff. I think it is. I mean, you're smiling. I am just talking about it. So we've really got to go back to some stuff that we've been dismissing, and it's really very simple. A lot of the answers are right in front of our nose.
And the reason why I'm smiling is because it's, that image of lying on your back on the grass. We used to do it in primary school, and I remember sometimes the teachers would be like, let's go out, lie on the grass, look at the clouds, and let's draw what you've seen. And it's interesting because back when I was in primary school, I can't remember how long, over 20 years ago, but mindfulness wasn't a big topic. But it's interesting because they used to get us to do mindful activities without us
Yeah.
knowing about it.